Let's be honest, it can be so tempting to want to mother your man, to make sure everything is taken care of and done just the way you want it to. But this is actually a huge relationship connection destroyer, and it crushes our attraction because neither of us want to be that, right? You don't want to be the mother for your man, and he doesn't want you to mother him either. In today's video, I am going to share why we might do this and how to stop mothering your man and inspire him to be the man that you truly want to be with. If you're new here, my name is Allie Valentin, and I love a good, honest, real conversation on the internet about life, relationships, and womanhood. And so in today's video, I am just gonna jump right into it. I am going to be sharing how to stop mothering your man and actually inspire him to be the man that you truly want to be with. See, here's the deal. I have to admit, I personally am a recovering mothering wife. Yes, when I first got married, I also fell into this tempting trap of mothering my husband. I thought that if I did not control the situation, control our home life and our relationship and how he did things, that my needs and ultimately our life would just not be taken care of. I began to become that controlling wife that truly, who wants to be with that? This went on for a rather long time until I realized that this is ultimately destroying my connection with my husband. My own fears about the potential of what if I don't take control of this thing, and what if he doesn't do the way I want him to do it, ultimately ended up being a huge distancer in our relationship. He didn't feel excited and admired and celebrated for the things that he did, and I ultimately continually felt stressed and frustrated in our relationship. I unintentionally was communicating, I don't believe you have what it takes. I don't believe you're capable enough to do it on your own. Now, this isn't to say that there aren't certain times, obviously, where you should chime in and you should tell him what you think and how you believe. But when it's coming from a place of control and where you feel like you have to do it to make sure everything's going to just be okay, this ultimately ends up becoming that sort of mothering that I'm talking about, where we feel like we have a high responsibility to take care of his needs in order for everything to be okay. Because deep down, we're not sure that everything will be okay if we just let go, relax, and lean back. Mothering in the sense of nurturing is not what I'm talking about. Mothering and nurturing are very different. And yet, you can fall into that mothering trap because nurturing was taken to an extreme. Nurturing comes from a place where you want to show your husband that you love and appreciate him, that you want to be his support. Mothering comes from a place of believing, whether you're aware of it or not, that you're not sure he's capable of doing it on his own. Nurturing is ultimately something that is very feminine, that you would want to lean into and become for your husband. You would want to be his safe place that supports him and builds him into the man that he is created to be. But mothering ultimately ends up being that critical voice that continually brings him down because he's a man. He's not a boy anymore. He doesn't need a mom to do the work for him or to tell him how to do it. See, a man lives to be respected. He has a deep need to be appreciated and respected for what it is that he does for you and who he is for you. And if only you can see the areas in his life or in your relationship that he is not showing up fully or not doing it the exact way you hope he would do it, and not being able to see all the other areas that he is showing up for you, if you have that critical lens that continually points out the areas of his life that are not up to your standard or up to your par, he's ultimately going to continually grow distant and disconnected from you. He's going to become smaller and smaller and less able to show up in the way that you actually want him to show up. So here are a few tips on how to stop mothering your man. See, there was a time that Elijah and I sat in a counseling appointment, and Elijah expressed basically that he felt that I only ever pointed out the areas that he wasn't doing well. And I was continually feeling frustrated because I didn't understand why he wouldn't make the changes that I knew he needed to make, the changes that I deeply desired in order for our relationship to feel connected and whole and well, for me to feel taken care of and seen and loved and heard. And the counselor looked at us and she said, see, Allie, here's the deal. A woman has the ability to build up a man or to crush him. And there's a way to go about this. When your husband, say it's a Saturday morning, and he decides, I'm gonna make Allie some breakfast in bed this morning. I'm going to scramble some eggs and some bacon and bring her some coffee, her favorite breakfast in bed. And when he shows up and he hands it to you, you go, where are the waffles? He's not gonna go, oh, let me go get them. He's gonna go, don't you see that I just created you this whole breakfast? But if you said, oh my gosh, you are the absolute best. Thank you so much for my eggs and my bacon. You know what would even make this better? Some waffles. He would go to the nines to make sure that you got waffles that morning. He'd be putting on his shoes, running to the store, making you waffles because you had acknowledged the areas that he had made you feel loved and seen and that he had shown up and been there for you. He ultimately wants to be your hero. He wants to be the one that makes your world go round, but not if it's not appreciated. And so often, this is where we get it wrong. This is why we begin mothering our husband, because we're hoping to get an outcome. We're hoping for him to become the man that we want him to be. We're ultimately doing this because we want to have this relationship where he shows up and he's a man and we get to be a woman and feminine, and we get to have this beautiful connected relationship. But we do it in a way that actually is critiquing and controlling and demeaning. It ultimately ends up being a relationship destroyer. Lean into your femininity. Here's the deal. The more we try to micromanage every part of our relationship, become hyper-focused on making sure everything goes well, the more we discourage his masculinity. But the more we lean back into our femininity and take care of ourselves and allow him to pursue us, the more he becomes masculine, the man that we actually desire for him to be. When we lean into our femininity, when we take care of ourselves and do the things that make us come alive, it allows for that space for him to grow and step into the man that we dream and desire of him to be. And we let go of the controlling, mothering sort of role that we might be playing. This might look really simple, like you spending some time with friends or buying those flowers at the grocery store because they light up the room and make you feel happy. It's the little things where you go, I'm gonna focus and take care of myself and allow him to step up and be the man in this space and in this relationship. Okay, next tip for you is let go of the control. This one was rather challenging for me because I felt like if I didn't tell him what I needed and remind him when it needed to be done, my needs would not be met. For example, every Thursday, our trash goes out. That's his responsibility in the house. He takes the trash cans to the curb every week to make sure that our home is taken care of. That's his responsibility. And yet, I would interject and interfere with his responsibility constantly by not just doing it for him, but by reminding him, hey, it's trash day. Hey, don't forget, it's Thursday. The trash needs to go out. Hey, can you take the trash cans out for me? Constantly being his alarm clock. Let me tell you, I just was continually frustrated because I felt like anytime I reminded him, whether I was coming from a really gentle, soft, loving, kind way, he always felt like I was demeaning, controlling, mothering him, and he would not want to go and do the thing. And he would want to pull away from me because it's not attractive to be that for your man. He doesn't want to feel like you are managing his life and responsibilities for him. And the reality is, he is responsible and capable of figuring out a solution if it doesn't go to plan. The truth is, if it doesn't go to plan, he is man enough to figure out a solution, to make sure that things are taken care of. Allow him to do that. If he doesn't take out the trash, he's gonna find a way around that. He's capable of managing that on his own. You don't have to do it for him. Let go and allow him to step up in that way. Next tip for you, let go of the opinions. See, it's so tempting to want to have an opinion about how and when and where he does all the different things. He is his own person, and the choices that he makes are not a direct representation or statement about you. He gets to make decisions and do things the way that he does, and it says nothing about you. So let go of the opinion where your opinion should not matter, where it doesn't have a place. Allow him to do the things in the way that he would do it because simply he's his own person. This isn't to say that there aren't times, of course, that you should have a voice and you should say things, but you don't need to have an opinion about every single little detail of his life. Allow him to invite your opinion. Don't be the one to jump in and dominate with your opinions. It's okay to lean back, relax, and be his support and lover, not his controlling mother. He might do things differently than you would, but that's okay. Now, here's the deal. I know there could be a lot more that is said on this topic, and I get it. I have been in your shoes where it can feel daunting to even begin to start really actually playing this out in your life. But the truth is, it might not happen overnight. Things might not change just instantly, but the work you put in is worth it. When I began to realize that this was an area I needed to grow in, it wasn't immediately that I got it right all the time. And not to say that I do it perfectly still all the time. But I have noticed when I've let go and lean back and embrace my femininity and allow him to be the masculine one in this relationship, when I don't smother and critique him and mother him, but I nurture him and support him and love him, our connection and our attraction for each other has grown increasingly. I have been in awe with how good our relationship feels in this last season when I've begun to make these steps in our relationship. See, the truth is, he also has a part to play, but it's you taking ownership of your responsibilities, of your life, of the ways that you show up in this relationship that actually empowers him to embrace who he's been created to be and do relationship well also. I would even encourage you, you might want to communicate that you're working on this, that you've become aware of this, and ask him to show you and tell you when he feels like you are critiquing him or demeaning him or mothering him, because you want to grow aware of the times and the areas in which you do this, because your heart is not to do that anymore. And he'll be aware of that, and you both will be able to encourage each other on this journey as you form a new connection and a new depth of relationship together. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, thank you for watching today's video. If you want more videos just like this one, be sure to click subscribe and let me know in the comments below if this video was helpful for you at all today. And if you are new here, I do have a little free resource for all of you out there. It's a 3-day insecurity detox, and you can click the link in the description and join me for 3 days as we get rid of insecurity in our life and begin effectively fighting the lies of the enemy. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, that is a lot of information. Until next time, have a beautiful rest of your week.